Ever heard that saying, win the waiting game? Sounds kind of strange, right? But when you're talking about startups, it's all about building up that anticipation before you even get going. Like imagine there's a line down the block before you even open your doors. That's the power of a really good pre-launch strategy. And that's what we're diving into today, Launchrock. They didn't just ride that wave, they pretty much taught everyone else how to surf. So Launchrock, they were founded way back in 2011 by Jameson Detweiler and Cody Marks Bailey. And the name might sound like some kind of space exploration thing, but they were all about conquering the internet, especially that pre-launch phase, when you're just getting started. They were famous for making those coming soon landing pages so easy, like ridiculously easy. Even if you couldn't tell an app from a spatula, you could still make a killer landing page. No coding, no headaches, just boom. Instant online presence for whatever you were cooking up. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets really interesting. As we were digging into all this stuff about Launchrock, it became clear that their story, it's about way more than just landing pages. It's like a masterclass in how to think like an entrepreneur. You've got your smart moves, your unexpected hurdles, and a whole bunch of lessons you can use on anything, not just starting a business. And trust me, there's some juicy stuff in here because, and this is important, even with a great product, a really solid plan, even Launchrock hit some snags along the way. Turns out, being a one-trick pony, even if it's a really, really good trick, can come back to bite you.
It's fascinating, isn't it? What made them so strong, that focus on simple landing pages, it also became their weakness, kind of like their Achilles heel. The thing is, the market, it's like that friend who's always on to the next big thing, always changing.
Totally. And as other companies started popping up, they started offering all these extra features, all the bells and whistles, stuff that Launchrock hadn't really gotten around to yet. Things like A/B testing, analytics dashboards, all those data-heavy tools that help you fine-tune your marketing and really get to know your audience.
Exactly. And this is a big lesson for anyone in business, no matter where you are in your journey. It's about finding that sweet spot, that balance between keeping things simple, but also giving your customers what they want as their needs change. You can't be afraid to try new things, add new features, even if it means your original idea gets a little more complex.
So even though Launchrock totally nailed the make it easy part, back in 2011, if you didn't speak code, trying to get your message out there online was like, well, I don't even know, like trying to teach cat to do your taxes or something. But they kind of missed that memo about keeping up with the Joneses, or in their case, keeping up with the ever-changing world of online marketing.
A classic example of needing to adapt. What worked like a charm in 2011 wasn't going to stay on top forever. They were the cool kids, and then, well, someone else showed up with a cooler lunchbox.
Ouch, yeah. So how did Launchrock create all that buzz in the first place? Two words, freemium model.
Ugh, the freemium model. Give a little something to get a lot in return. It's interesting, this strategy really taps into some powerful psychological buttons we all have. One is loss aversion we hate to lose, even if it's something we never had in the first place. So getting something for free, it feels like a win right away.
So true. We all love a freebie. And Launchrock, they knew that, used it to their advantage. You could use their basic version, build a landing page, start collecting those email addresses, all for free. But if you wanted the really cool stuff, the super-duper turbocharged features, well, then you had to shell out a few bucks for the premium plan.
And that leads right into the second psychological hook, reciprocity. When someone gives us something we see as valuable, even if it's just a free service, we're more likely to want to give something back. In this case, by upgrading to a paid plan. It's a delicate dance, this back and forth between how much something seems worth and wanting to return the favor.
So they'd reel you in with the free version, then dazzle you with these premium features you didn't even know you needed until you saw them. Pretty smart, right?
Absolutely. But even beyond the whole freemium thing, their focus on building a community, that was marketing gold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They knew that getting people talking, word of mouth, is like digital currency, especially when you're just starting out.
Exactly. They made it incredibly easy to share those landing pages on social media. Every single user, they were a potential brand ambassador. This whole idea of virality, community engagement, it was genius, especially back then. Remember, they were operating in the very early stages of what we now call influencer marketing.
It's like they figured out how to bottle lightning in a jar.
Yeah.
Turned all those early users into like their own personal hype machine.
Precisely. And that actually leads into another really crucial element of Launchrock's success, especially early on, and that's how much attention they paid to the user experience. They weren't just out to create landing pages, they wanted to create an experience that was so smooth, so intuitive that it felt effortless to use.
And that's such a key thing, right? I mean, back then, if you were building a website, chances are you were wrestling with HTML code,
Mhm.
or you were stuck with these clunky website builders.
Yeah.
And then Launchrock comes along with their like super sleek, user-friendly platforms. Like they made everyone else look like they were stuck in the stone age of the internet.
Exactly. And that ease of use, it fed directly into their whole community-driven approach, you know? When something's easy to use and it's actually kind of fun, you're way more likely to tell your friends about it. It's like, think about it. If you go to a restaurant and the menu's amazing, the food's great, you're going to tell people, right? But if you have to, like, decipher some crazy code just to order a salad,
You're probably not going back. Okay, so speaking of recommendations, let's switch gears a bit here and talk about some of the actionable stuff, the insights we can take away from Launchrock's journey. Because whether you're launching a business, a creative project, or you're just trying to up your game in general, their story is packed with these little nuggets of wisdom.
I completely agree. And I'd say one of the most important takeaways is how crucial it is to find a real problem you can solve. Launchrock didn't just create a product because they thought, oh, this would be cool. They saw a genuine need. Startups were struggling to build an audience before they launched, and Launchrock offered a solution that was both clever and really effective.
It's like they were like problem-solving detectives. You put on your detective hat, study the market, really listen to what people are struggling with, and then bam, you crack the case with this solution that's both practical and innovative.
Exactly. And that leads us to the second big takeaway, and it's something we've touched on already: the power of simplicity. We've talked about how Launchrock's laser focus on keeping things simple, eventually it kind of backfired on them a little, but in those early days, it was a huge reason for their success.
Because, let's be honest, nobody wants to spend hours wrestling with a new tool, right?
Right.
Especially when you're already up to your eyeballs in other tasks and to-dos. Launchrock got that. They made sure their platform was so easy to understand that, I don't know, even my grandma could use it.
And that ease of use, that was key to attracting a wide audience, which of course, that just fuels growth. It's a classic example of how keeping things simple, when it's done right, can really set you apart from the crowd.
And then finally, we can't forget about the importance of staying agile, which is something Launchrock, unfortunately, they learned the hard way. The tech world, it moves fast, really fast. And if you're not constantly adapting, evolving, you risk getting left behind. It's like that old saying, the only thing constant is change. And nowhere is that more true than in the world of tech. Am I right?
Absolutely. And that's where Launchrock, even with all their early success, they kind of stumbled. They were slow to change with the market, slow to embrace those new trends, the new features that were popping up. And that, well, that created an opening for their competitors.
It's like, you're at the top of the mountain, you're enjoying the view, and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, everyone else is setting up camp on a bigger, better mountain just over there.
Exactly. And I think the lesson here for anyone listening is that success, it's not a finish line you cross. It's a journey. It's ongoing. You've got to always be learning, always be trying new things, pushing yourself to stay one step ahead. You snooze, you lose. Right.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Launchrock, what are some of the big takeaways? We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, let's see. Well, first, find a real problem to solve, something people are banging their heads against the wall trying to fix.
Right, like a real pain point.
Exactly. Second, make your solution so simple, so easy to use, it feels like magic.
Like almost too good to be true.
And third, always be ready to adapt, to evolve. Like we were saying, the world doesn't wait around for anyone, not even a rocket ship.
And then maybe the biggest takeaway from Launchrock's story is that even with the bumps in the road, the missed opportunities, they still built a successful business. And they did it by understanding something really fundamental, a basic human need, the need to connect with an audience.
Powerful stuff.
It really is. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, right? It's about spotting those needs, those gaps in the market, and finding creative ways to fill them.
To offer solutions.
Exactly. And sometimes it's about knowing when to change direction, when to pivot, just to stay ahead of the curve. So as we close out this deep dive, here's something to think about. What problem are you passionate about solving? What could you launch that would have people lining up before you even open your doors? Keep those wheels turning, folks, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.